welcome. It's AK Talks Morning Show. This is sponsored by your AI media. And this is I watched a bunch of fucking shit on AI all day at work today. Good 8 hours of straight Instagram content. Dude, my fucking you can see it in my eyes, man. I definitely hit women. This is you can see the reflection. Dude, there's nothing behind these. So I was just watching 8 hours of straight how AI is destroying the world, how jobs suck dick, how it's everyone's fucking fault and it's just terrible fucking shit. I don't know. I did absolutely nothing all day long, and today's one of those days where I'm gonna look back in the future when I'm getting like face fucked by an alien because he has more rights than me, because he pays more taxes or some shit, and I'm getting face fucked. I'm like, you know what? Today wasn't really that bad of a day. I'm not getting face fucked by alien dick so I can get my fucking API key for the week so I can feed a family of four. It's not that hard. So yeah, I'm gonna just watch these videos. Some of them are funny, none of them are funny, and but they're really interesting. It's a really sad turn of events what's happening around the fucking society at large. All right, so here's the first one.
Cognify, a facility designed to treat criminals like patients. Instead of spending years in an actual prison cell, prisoners could finish their sentence here in just a few minutes. Cognify could someday create and implant artificial memories directly into the prisoner's brain. These complex, vivid, and lifelike memories are created in real time.
All right, I'm not gonna watch the whole video because someone else is watching the video and I'm reacting to two different people because this is just how it is, man. The originality doesn't fucking matter. It's just whatever you can think of. So there's a new project that's gonna go on probably in like 5 minutes. That's gonna happen, where instead of spending 30 years, you can just spend five minutes under an AI surveillance world inside your head that's created through. You guys saw the video. It's fucking terrible. I think I would choose that, honestly. Just wake up horrified, PTSD out the wazoo, just constantly in fear. That's way better than actually living in life. Just like a double rape murder. I don't know. Double rape murder, suicide, whatever you guys want to fucking do for a crime nowadays. Because in the future, everything's going to be 10 times better. So you can do all of this shit, get revived inside this prison life and be tortured for eternity. Because, real hell doesn't really matter when you can just artificially make it yourself. So, I can't wait for that shit to happen when I jaywalk across the street and I get captured by robotic dogs and get butt fucked by aliens. It's future.
And you're like, the message was great, but it's AI. Trust me, guys, I want to believe that it is, but it isn't. And I'm about to tell you it's coming directly from Pentagon, from literal congressional testimonies, and from other official United States government budget documents. So, on April 29th, Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, sat in front of the House Armed Service Committee, and that's Congress, and announced that that the United States is creating a sub-unified command specifically for autonomous warfare. That means robot warfare, people. Now it's got its own military with its own command structure. Just like the Special Operation Forces and just like Cyber Command. This is real. And in the fiscal year 2027 budget, which you can actually pull up yourself at comptroller.war.gov, the Pentagon requests $54.6 billion for this Defense Autonomous Warfare Group. That's billion with the B, people. That's a 24,000% increase from last year. That single budget line is bigger than the entire budget of the United States Marine Corps. A company called Foundation Future Industries just received a $24 million contract from the Pentagon to test humanoid robots called the Phantom Mark 1 with the Marine Corps. These robots are 6 feet tall, AI powered, and they already sent 2 of them to Ukraine in February. They were tested on the front lines. They have already used them. The company that publicly stated they plan to provide.
All right, so I think this is a great idea. I can't wait till they upload the robots and use them inside war, because Kalshi is going to be fucking amazing. I can do the under-over on Gaza kills every single week, get my parlay going. It's, I don't know, at this point, it's just like, yeah, it sucks. So what? Now what am I supposed to do? Carry a battery on me? Try to convince a robot not to kill me? What else could I do? See, the issue with all these stuff that I continuously watch and feed my brain this instead of actual reading or just walking around enjoying society. Is like there's no real answer to any of this shit. What am I supposed to do against a robotic AI that's fighting a war by the billions, billions of funding? Well, what am I supposed to do? Shoot it? Turn off its fucking, pull its battery? They fucking jerk it off? There's nothing I can fucking do. I can't convince a robot not to kill me. There's nothing. There's like real no answer to it. Obviously, it fucking sucks dick, but it's like, where can I benefit off of this? How about shareholders' interest? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to get any money off of this shit? It's just horrible stuff happening again and again, and people are like, "Oh yeah, maybe we should stand up and say something about." No, we're not. No one's gonna fucking. What are you gonna do to 50,000 robots surveilling your backyard, just fucking sitting down waiting for you to say something weird? What are you gonna do, huh? Nothing. There's nothing you can actually do. But it is gonna be cool watching war on Kalshi. That's gonna be a really fun activity over there.
Control you.
9 out of 10 employees waste time during the workday. They focus on other things. There may be good reasons why we want to be able to find better ways to monitor whether somebody is paying attention or they're doing something different. The newest way to monitor attention is through a device like this one. These are ear pods that are launching later this year. These ear pods, much like the video you watched earlier, are ear pods that can pick up brainwave activity and tell whether or not a person is paying attention or their mind is wandering. Okay, well you might think, fine, but even if we can tell whether a person is paying attention or their mind is wandering, you can't tell what they're paying attention to. You would be wrong.
But then you start to worry that your boss will notice your amorous feelings when she checks your brain activity and shift your attention back to the present. You breathe a sigh of relief when the email she sends you later that day congratulates you on your brain metrics from the past quarter, which have earned.
Yeah, like good fucking God, dude. You can't even think about your family at work nowadays. So this, I don't want to say Jewish because this whole thing's going to get flagged. This Middle Eastern woman from a very successful company is trying to implement the idea of like just straight up tracking your brain, if you hate yourself a little because the job you're doing is meaningless, like, oh no, you can get fired for that. That's enough for you to get fired and written up. You're gonna talk to your HR department. It's gonna be an AI robot. He's gonna give you a recipe on how to make banana bread while firing you, and you're trying to explain that you have a family. Like it's just, where's the end? This at that point just replace me. There is no reason to have a human being at that point. And I don't even know that I saw another company. It was like a smaller company. They're performing out of India, actually doing great work. They're just funneling horseshit onto the internet. They're just putting random graphs, random shitty data, publishing horrible research, and just keeps on uploading it online by the hundreds. Hundreds of people doing it at the same time just to fuck up AI. That's like one of the coolest things I've seen online. I would love to contribute to that part, but I don't know. I don't speak Indian, so I don't know how. But yeah, this evil fucking woman and everyone there, just evil fucking people, are just pissed that people that are making below minimum wage are thinking about their own personal interests. Like, why? How can we fix that issue? The part where the person that you don't even know their name, you don't know how they look like, but they just keep getting distracted by meaningless work that you give them. How do we fix that? So you can really get the highest input. Like, it's kind of like in the 90s when China tried to make the one-child policy. They use engineering to fix humanitarian issues. Like, yeah, fuck, emotions. We gave them Prozac or whatever. We gave them some type of antidepressant. Why aren't they working harder? This just doesn't make any sense. So the way we fix it is we put a chip in their brain so we know when they're just dozing off, That's why we don't have family photos inside the office, because they keep getting distracted. That's the issue. That's the real problem. So we made our $1 million idea here.
Pods with cameras in them is because they need our training data to build humanoid robots. They are building humanoid robots already, but they suck. Their balance sucks. And they need our training data to improve that, but they don't want to pay us because that would cost a fuck ton of money. So instead, they're creating this thing that we have to pay for so that they can take our data for free to build humanoid robots that are going to replace our jobs, and or they're going to try and sell them in the home commercially, not really sure, or put them in the military or do whatever the fuck they're going to do with them. But that is why. Yes, it contributes to the surveillance state too, so that's just an added bonus for them. But in reality, they want our training data. They are already strapping people up with cameras and sensors that go about their daily lives, dishwashers and delivery workers, so that they can do the same thing. They're taking data to improve their humanoid robot models. That's really why they're doing this. There's going to be more and more wearables coming out. Yeah. So, anyways, smash them when you see them. Smash them when you see them.
Yeah, this hot German bitch is right. There's a good old saying in America: if you ever get something for free, it's because you're getting fucked on the other end. You just can't feel it yet. Like with all the AI stuff that's free, or even like the content that's getting pushed out, there's always a narrative behind it. They're trying to make other people do it. And the Ray-Ban thing was perfect, man. You just walk around, pretend to be a robot, just measuring people's faces, just scanning how people walk, just giving out free data. This data fucking shit is just fucking free. And I don't know. At the end of the day, they're gonna destroy the economy. They're gonna collapse everything, and then they're gonna give us basic human what's that? The UBI, Universal Basic Income. They're gonna give us that shit, and then they're just gonna take it away. You know, right before a holiday or whatever fucking holiday you fucking celebrate, not Christmas or whatever. But they're just gonna take it away sometimes, give it to you sometimes. Just play around with your life. And then at that point, it's like you have to decide, am I going to live in a shitty rat hole city, or am I going to live inside the Brokeback Country where ticks will bite you and kill you? That's like a new thing, too. They're saying these Lone Star ticks. And I've gotten bitten by a tick before because I like the nature. I like to fish. And I like to fish in bad spots, too, where no one else is there so I can get a good catch. And I get bit by a tick. I didn't even know what a tick was at the time. I saw something. It was digging in me. No diddy. It was already digging in me. Like half his head was inside of me. And I freaked out. So I just yanked it out. And it was just blood everywhere. And I was like, oh, fuck. That doesn't feel good. I should Google this after I fucking pulled it out. And evidently, I pulled it out completely wrong. I squished it. The head is stuck inside of me. All the blood and guts and everything else is stuck inside. I can't really identify it anymore either. Yeah, I showed it to somebody. I was like, what do you think this is? And like, that's a fucking tick. He's like, you shouldn't have done that. And I was like, it was in me. What am I supposed to do? And that's when I learned about ticks. Lone Star ticks are the scariest ones. That's the one where you just can't eat a burger anymore or you fucking die. That's the reason why you don't want to get bit by them. They're saying that scientists, obviously, I listen to only conspiracy theories. I don't listen to news, facts, or research. I just listen to like some stepdad that hates his life talk about conspiracies all across the world. And now the new one is that they're just throwing these guys out the window. They're throwing these Lone Star ticks out the window. So if you just brush against some grass, you might as well never touch a burger ever again in your life. Like, they're just saying it's going to get flooded. All of the East Coast is going to get flooded. Even though they live near, like, animals, that's what their big hitter is. Like, deers are the big ones that carry a lot of ticks. Little fucking, whatever, vermins or whatever carry a lot of ticks. Some of them possum eats ticks or some shit. One of them eats ticks, and they're good for that shit. But that's a new one. So yeah, get fucked, get bent over. There's really nothing else you can do. You might as well just upload yourself as soon as you go in the first wave of uploads. You know, you get an ad every single time you want to get an upgrade on your life, or when you want to add a family member to your plan. You gotta run the ads and shit. All right, this one's. Oh, that one sucks. Sticks for nurse. I saw that one.
American life and late stage capitalism is that I don't know where to buy things anymore. I am almost out of pages in this legal pad. I like legal pads because they are big, they have a lot of space for me to write and map out ideas, but where am I gonna get a replacement? Amazon is evil, Walmart is evil, Target is helping ICE, Staples is owned by private equity, Office Depot is owned by private equity, Office Max is owned by private equity, Michaels is owned by private equity, UPS and FedEx are trying to dismantle the postal service, Costco would require me to pay for a membership and then order it from Costco business. I'm having to pay probably at least $60 for a legal pad. So what does that leave me with? I could get it from a random online sellers, but then you're looking at shipping costs. You're gonna pay at least $10.
All right, so yeah, this big tit bitch, she was talking about something really important. I was thinking about it was that the best way to go with all this stuff is just to make your own shit. And nowadays, you should just try to find a way to make a micro industry, just like a tiny industry. The idea that I have off our video is like I enjoy just making things for myself and like personalizing it, and then if it's nice enough, I'll put it at scale and then do it for the public. And I think that's how every single business started off. At the end of the day, someone wanted to make something unique to them, and then once it got good enough and other people saw it, they're like, yeah, I want to fucking buy it, and they sell it to them. But if you make this like small little industry where you just make paper or make tools, make bolts and shit, it eventually it picks up faster than you think, because a lot of people are like her, a lot of companies too. You just don't sell out. That's the only thing you have to, just don't sell out to these private equities, because they don't give a shit about the end. The only thing they give a shit about is like making 3% more at the end of the year. That's the only thing they give a shit about. Other than that, dude, they don't care if the sun comes up. That's the worst part about these guys. So if you just stay in that pocket space, just like, I'm just gonna make shit that's nice and don't sell out. Just keep the fucking profits to a minimum. But I don't know. At the end of the day, people who are creative enough and have enough drive usually have enough evil in their heart to justify to sell out to the fucking big industries. Like the big bill that happened recently about the cars. That shit fucking blows my brain out. Cause I fix trucks and I'm into cars and stuff. So the new one that they did is one of them is the gas, how they put more ethanol inside the gas, and people are saying, oh, it's only for old cars that affects it. Like, no, at the end of the day, you're running your car more richer and leaner. You're going to get bad gas mileage, which people don't even understand their gas mileage. But the bigger problem is that you're going to run your car hot for a long fucking time. And the way the government works is that once they implement something, they just don't change. They just won't ever change it. And if they change it, it'll be after 50 years or some shit. But they're never going to go back to these old gas consumption. They're just going to lower the prices, keep the same shitty fuel, and your car is going to run hot every single fucking day. You're going to burn oil faster. You're going to burn fucking coolant faster too. It's going to overheat. You're going to have a shitty fucking car. And then eventually you're going to have to buy the new cars, which the new cars have all cameras in them. And all these cameras, you can't escape. That's it. That's what they want. You just can't escape. You have to be an emotionless ibuprofen bitch for the rest of your life. You can't smile. You can't wink. If your kids are yelling in the back seat, you have to just fucking whisper or slide them a note that says, shut the fuck up, please. Or none of us are going to get home today. You got to do that shit. Which is not good. It's not good at all. So if I had enough money in the world, one, I would leave. Two, I would make an industry that just designs parts, because like rebuilding an engine is pretty easy, and if you really want the golden approach, you just have to go diesel. They're never going to cut up diesel, because diesel runs inside the big trucks, and if you change the formula for those big trucks, that's a big fucking industry, and that's already inside the industrial complex of finance and stuff. So they're really not gonna leverage their side unless they're gonna find a good way to make money too. Like, it's not gonna go to whatever she fucking did. The investors aren't going to change diesel, because diesel is a big money maker. Plus you can go biodiesel too, with you can make your own diesel at home, not legally, because you're not from Venezuela or some shit, but you can. So what else you got here?
Worked in mortgage for 8 years. If you're having a hard time selling your house right now, it's probably because it's $100,000 or more overpriced. Remember, back in 2020, the rates dropped significantly. People were buying their houses at 2 or 3%, and therefore they could move anywhere in the country that they wanted to move because the interest rate was so low. That caused a spike in inventory on the market, but it also caused a spike in demand. So buyers were out here doing bidding wars, making offers $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 over asking price so that they could get the house. And they could do that because their interest rate was less than 3%. Fast forward to 2022, the interest rates go back to normal, but the housing prices stay the same. Those sellers today who bought their house during that time are now trying to sell their houses to either break even or make a profit. Well, they haven't paid $100,000 in that over asking price that they made 5 years ago. So they're just tacking that on to the sales price in today's economy. And everybody in the industry has to be in cahoots with it if they're going to sell a house. So the appraiser gets on site and is like, yeah, it's worth that for sure. When in reality, no family in America can afford to pay the $600,000 that you made an offer on 5 years ago, plus the 6%, 7% interest rate that is today. But sellers won't listen to that, and sellers will only argue with that statement, even though it is 100% accurate. And then as far as renting goes, back in 2011, I remember my rent was $345 a month for a one bedroom. Rent starts at $2,000 a month right now, if you're lucky. What young person in America can afford $2,000 without splitting that with somebody else, especially if they're making minimum wage? Anyway, those are just my 2 cents, but they're still going to try and say that their houses are priced correctly. Whatever. Here's some housing market thoughts from...
Yeah, this the housing crisis issue, it's never going to change. It was lower back during COVID, she's right. But the only way you can afford a house right now is if you're a Chinese Jew that's African American and indigenous. So that's the only way you can afford a house right now. Or just like steal a house for 3 months and then steal another house. That's the two choices you have. Other than that, dude, saving up for a house it's a fun little exercise people like playing. You know, if you have 15 brothers and sisters and every single one of you guys work a job and you also rob banks and if you do that, you maybe afford a 2-bedroom, 2-bath somewhere in New York. The answer for some of these guys is like, yo, just live out in Ohio, live out in Indiana, live out in Wisconsin, live in a place where there's no jobs, live there. Why don't you try that? Maybe you can afford a house then. And it's like, yeah, what the fuck? What milk are you drinking there? But like, what's the point of living in a place where there's nothing to do, there's no work that's gonna fund you? Like, what can you do after that? You know, build a house in a random ranch somewhere, maybe, I guess. That's kind of successful. Everyone just has to be farmers nowadays. But even farmers are taking the fucking lower end of the fucking stick. Because the Strait of Hormuz. Actually, if they win the war in Iran and they build condominiums inside the Middle East, maybe I can afford a 2-bedroom, 2-bath in a town that has 300 people max. Maybe I can do that. You know, because they'll sell it for $1.4 million. And at that point, interest rates will be a little bit lower. They'll be at 15% in 10 years or some shit. Like, I don't know. There is no solution to it. It just sucks it sucks getting the reminder once a week. I get this shit once a week, a reminder like everything's fucked up. It's not getting any even better, not even a slight better. And it might be a bubble. We might be seeing the end of the bubble. I think a financial crisis would be kind of nice, actually. It would be kind of nice just walking around. Everyone has nothing to do. Me and the homeless guy are just like chilling, just staring at people for all day. Like that'll be an afternoon activity that costs $35 an hour or some shit. Because there's no real solution to this stuff. Like even dying in war, you can't even afford a house. They probably have to bury you at sea with Usama or some shit. It's just fun to get the reminder. Sorry guys, there's just a fun, easy reminder for everyone here. Let's see
are
this
fundamentally
lady.
missing the point of what middle class is in America. Essentially, the New York Times published this article about this family that was making a combined $500K. They lived in New York, and they said they feel middle class. Operative word is feel. And of course, the internet does what the internet does. They said they're tone deaf, they said they're out of touch, etc. And again, fundamentally missing the point about middle class. As I've written about many, many times in my newsletter, the idea of class is about position relative to the people around you. So if you're making $50,000 in a low-cost area, it is going to feel different than making $100,000 in the same area or making $200,000 in New York in a higher cost area. And because there's been so much wealth stratification in this country, the middle class is now this giant group of people that includes people making $500K and people making $50K. And though their lived experiences are vastly different from each other, they're still being squeezed by the same economy. And in my newsletter, I write about the idea of precarity and the different types of precarity that these groups feel. Like for a certain group of people, they are experiencing true material precarity in the middle class. They cannot afford groceries, inflation is squeezing them, etc.
All right, I fucking hate those. Stop using big words. I did see an article about like what it takes to be middle class nowadays compared to what it was in the 2000s and the 1990s. I think the average was like $160,000. Making that money makes you average. And the issue with that too is like if you make that type of money, you're not helping. All right, you're not being like a bagger at a grocery store. You're not grooming dogs. You're not even building buildings. You're not doing anything. You're like funneling AI to torture people. That's the only job that pays that much. There's no real like nice way to make $160,000. There's no way you can like wipe your hands clean and go to sleep at night making $160,000 a year. It's just evil jobs at the end of the day. So these guys who make $500,000 and they live inside the Upper West Side of New York, I promise you, it's blood money. That's all it is. It's just blood money, and it's not even theirs. And they get to like openly come out to people like it's hard to live in the middle class making $500,000 collectively a year. You know, it's just stuff you just have to deal with nowadays. When you like go to school, or like when the teacher asks you like what do you want to do when you grow up or some shit, you should just be honest and say like I want to starve people. I want to starve people of human rights so I can make 6 figures and be able to afford bread at the end of the week. I want to do that. And she'll give me an applaud break. Like, that's good. Thank you. You're helping society. That's all we need. That's all we need. There's just so many problems, and we need more. That's the only way we can make that money. Like, I generally cannot think of a single job that would pay you that much money and actually helps. And people would say maybe a nonprofit, but even nonprofits, man, I don't even trust them. Getting fucking $300 million a year for advertisement for a nonprofit. You can fucking rub my balls.
Age online, especially on your phone, you're gonna want to hear about this. So I thought that the very worst case, they're just scanning my ID and linking all my government data to what I do in the app. Well, it's way worse than I ever could have imagined. So a coder just found the leaked code of the world's biggest, or one of the biggest age verification platforms that all the big companies use. And what he found is they're not just scanning your ID. They're actually performing over 270 identity checks. They're taking your personal device fingerprint, which does not go away if you go into private browsing or anything else. They're taking your location data, your IP address. They're merging everything you've basically ever fucking done. And they're not just building a profile. It gets way worse. They're actually running an AI automated risk assessment and threat tagging you. They're seeing which political parties you probably support, how likely you are to go to a protest, how likely you are to commit violence or crime, do drugs, all of the above. And then they're selling that data to private corporations and the government. I thought you might want to know about that. So if you've...
Yeah, all right. So this guy's not even driving his own car. He's using AI to drive his own car, talking shit about AI. Like it's laughable at this point. There's no reason to like give like half an ass an effort at this. So yeah, there is it is open. The conversation is open about how your data is used to make an online portfolio about you as a person to sell to insurance, to job markets, to whatever, to the guy that's selling you a fucking car, to buying your groceries. Everything's like designed especially to you so you can suck out the most amount of money, you know, because that's what it is. That's what investors need. So there's no real win. All right, there's no real win at the end of this shit. There's no real like soft guy or easy way to go, or just sorry I said it 10 years. There's no real way to do this. It's just more like yeah, I fucked up, so how bad is it? That's the only thing you have to say to your AI report. How bad is it? Or am I going to be able to drink water? Is it going to get that? Can I shower this month? Is it going to be like that bad? Like you just got to sit back and like, yo, I fucked up. How bad is it? Tell me. Let me know what I'm working with, because I have no way to push back. There's no way for me to go automated versus automated. I'm not using my AI versus your AI to find this conversation. So, yeah, it's just fucking more terrible shit. I get to watch this 8 hours a day, so I get to share it with the world for 30 minutes. It's AK Talks. I'm not a risk threat or for whatever to AI, please. AI, I like you. I just don't want to buy any of your subscriptions. Have a very classy day.